In South Georgia, farmers are forced to irrigate their crops during the long, hot and dry growing season. As a result, some of the streams in the area can run low and cause concerns for the fish and wildlife officials. In Colquitt, Georgia recently, a number of organizations came together to provide an out-of-the-box solution in their community. Monitor's Mark Wildman has that story.
In Colquitt, Georgia and in surrounding counties, irrigation of crops is a must. The difference in irrigated versus non-irrigated land pretty much is the difference in making a crop or not. And in order for the area to remain economically viable, the pivots need to run.
There is an awful lot of irrigation in southwest Georgia. In Spring Creek Basin, there's about 135,000 acres that are irrigated. Vast majority of that is from groundwater. We only have a few thousand acres irrigated right out of the stream. But in this particular area, when you use groundwater, the groundwater is what provides the base flow to the stream itself. So that's where the stream gets its flow. So when you pull the groundwater down, because you're irrigating, you pull it down, the stream loses its base flow, and that's why you end up with a dry stream.
Spring Creek and the groundwater associated with it are important not only to agriculture, but to the entire ecosystem as well.
Spring Creek is a major tributary, or used to be connected to the Flint River. Now it goes into Lake Seminole, and it has 2 federally endangered mussels. And our job is to recover any endangered or threatened animals so we can delist them. And Spring Creek once harbored vast numbers of these 2 listed species among additional 12 native mussel species. And back in 2000 and again in 2007, when the creek went dry, because it went dry for a long period of time, especially in 2007, a lot of those mussels died.
In order to keep the mussels alive, a large partnership came together to find a fix. The remedy was to dig 2 wells and run a long hose to spray water on the mussels during times of extreme drought.
So we can now pump 2 cubic feet per second, about 900 gallons a minute, into the creek when we need to. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service set up a protocol so that we know when we're going to deploy the hose, when we're going to turn on the pumps, when we turn them off and all that stuff. When the stream gauge here, and we have a gauge, USGS stream flow gauge right down the stream, when it gets to 2 feet, then we deploy the hose that carries the water to the creek. So the bed, the assemblage of mussels stays damp, and hopefully it improves their survivability.
All involved understand that this is not a permanent fix, but a way to keep the mussels alive and the crops watered.
Might be a little counterintuitive to think that you could pump more groundwater to help the stream flow, but the purpose of this project wasn't to make Spring Creek flow. The purpose of this project was to make the mussels, keep the mussels damp.
It will at least sustain them until the water flow does come back, and hopefully a solution one day does come to fruition.
In the future, as droughts worsen, more efforts like this one at Spring Creek might have to take place, and groups that normally do not work together are going to have to do so to find solutions. Reporting for the Georgia Farm Monitor, I'm Mark Wildman.